how to deal with injuries. Welcome back, my friend. I hope you're having a great day. As usual, let's get straight into it. Now, as you can see, we're in a little different setting, a little different background. I'm kind of just sitting on the floor next to my fake plant over here. Just give a different feel. Just hang out, relax, explain some things to you guys. I had a subscriber comment about injuries. A lot of you guys asked me about how do I deal with injuries, and this was the homie's question. May I ask your advice on injuries? Though I understand recovery and understand pain, but what do we do if, like, say we go so hard we injure ourselves? How to deal with it psychologically, because taking time off is depressing. I need guidance, and I'm here to help guide you. Now, when you're going so hard you injure yourself, understand these things happen. When I first started to get into like bodybuilding, I was a skinny kid, and just doing I didn't know what I was doing. I had weight training in high school. My friends and I in class, we were just doing like hundreds of curls with the bar. I was so weak. I was like 95 pounds. And the next day, I wouldn't be able to open my arms like fully. I couldn't brush my teeth. Everything would be hurting, but I would still push through it. And this is the part you got to understand psychologically. As you get older, especially when I was fighting, of course, when you're sparring, and I'm fighting at 145 pounds. So at the time, I was walking around at about 155 pounds. My teammates were about 200 pounds. They're like me. They're fast, they're quick, they're agile. But they're the bigger versions of me. They're like 5'10", 6 foot, 6'1", 200 pounds, lean and ripped and lanky. And they could move like me, and I would have to spar them, and they would whoop my ass. On top of all the conditioning things we were doing, injuries are a part of being an athlete, whether you're doing football, soccer, anything. This is just how it is when you're pushing yourself to the limit. Now, for me to help you kind of guide you psychologically, it always starts with your goal and your intentions. For me now, as a father, a YouTuber, you can basically say I'm kind of in the prime of my athleticism. I was very diligent with taking care of my body. I quit doing a lot of things like smoking, drinking. I had spurts of just taking care of my diet, and I'm basically 35, but I'm at full tilt, mental, spiritual, physical. I'm in my prime, and I don't take days off. Me being a father, I always will do something, whether it's sit-ups, walking, running. I just went running this morning in the rain, shadow boxing, all these other things. It always comes down to your goals and your intentions. I don't have to take a day off because I genuinely enjoy being with my body. That's just the thing. I just like moving my body. I mean, I have my son. My girlfriend and I, we just got an electric bike. And I just ride it around. The kind of I'll do some work on YouTube, answer some questions. My lovely dog. Her name is Luna. Then I'll just jump on the bike, just spending time with my body. It's just kind of like being a kid. And when you understand your intentions, your goals, it's easier to push through psychologically. Now, an example of this was, there was a time when my grandma passed away. I was kind of trying to find myself. I was maybe around 23, 22 years old. And I was going to get back into fighting, boxing. But somehow this boxing gym was right next to a CrossFit gym. And CrossFit just caught my eye. So I ended up doing CrossFit. Now what happened was, I ended up breaking my foot, my right foot, and my left ankle. And dude, I'm totally just out of commission. I was doing CrossFit. I still had my fighting shape because I was just getting off of my little fighting career. So I was in prime peak shape, 22 years old, 23 years old, and I just didn't know what to do with my life. My grandma passed away. My head was kind of all over the place. I got into CrossFit, and that it was just a freak accident. That's another story in itself, but I basically didn't have legs. I couldn't walk. It's crazy. Um, Even though that happened, I still was able to do pull-ups, push-ups. I went to go get my CrossFit certification. As some of you know, I'm CrossFit certified. It's like a 3-day event. I went there on crutches, like just high on medication, like just some painkillers. I had to take a test. I had to sit in on lectures. It was a whole team that comes down of coaches, and they run like this, almost like a 3-day seminar to kind of give you the understandings. Of course, you got to take a test. There was like a fitness workout to kind of like wrap up the whole certification. I couldn't participate, but the guy allowed me to do push-ups and stuff, which is so cool. You know, I'm so blessed to have been around those guys. But even though I was injured, my intent, my goal was to get certified in CrossFit because I enjoyed it. So even though I didn't have legs, I still went to my box, they call it, the my CrossFit gym. I still helped to kind of like the teammates. I wouldn't say teammates, they were just like other people at the CrossFit gym. You know, I got really close with them. They really liked my energy, and you know, I just, even though I had 2 broken legs, I still kind of helped. I wouldn't say help coach. I was just there. And I still did like some curls with the kettlebells, some battle rope stuff. Like I was able to push through, even though just like small little steps would really hurt my foot. I was in this space boot. So I had one space boot. I had like another, like 2 space boots, I call it. They're like these big boots that I can take on and off. I didn't go in a cast. The break wasn't too crazy, so I didn't have to go in a cast. But the pain was just excruciating. Especially for me, like, dude, I got tattoos on my neck and my chest. Like, just walking on, like, the fractured ankle and the broken foot. That was crazy. But in my heart, my deepest desire was, you know, to get CrossFit certified, to be more around this community that I found, and just really be a leader within this thing that I found. So, you know, whatever pain I felt, it was easy for me to push through. And it wasn't like I was forcing it. So for you, you know, if you're training hard and, you know, you injure yourself and you're kind of like getting psychologically down, understand this is just a part of life. But when you're getting down, you know, this happens in any situation, whether it's money, love life, you know, if you become a parent, there's gonna be times when it feels like the world is just on top of you. And when you have an injury, that just adds insult to injury. Like you just can't do anything. In those moments, you gotta connect yourself back to why you started training in the first place. When you connect back to that source, that goal, or that love of why you're training so hard, your mind will click on and it'll start to get creative. Dude, if I had to guess, you can still get those hand grippers and like work your forearms. You could still get those neck straps, or like the Thai fighters, they put the towel in their mouth, they wrap a kettlebell around it, and they work their neck. You can still work abs. You can still work on your literary skills. You can read. You can write. As a martial artist, as a warrior, as a father, as a loving partner, these things do not stop. Do not stop. Donuts, thinking about donuts. But these things don't stop just because you're injured. There's always something that you can do to improve on yourself. Physically, you know, you just gotta understand what areas are injured and just somewhat avoid it. If it's like your knees, dude, like you can do curls, shoulders, overhead presses. If it's your shoulders, if it's both shoulders, dude, you can still do squats. You can be in a sling. I mean, like, you know, if the intentions are pure and you continue daily, you wake up, you kind of just meditate on your goals, you think about your goals, you think about your intentions. It's easy to do these things, even like with a diet. This time around, when I got extremely ripped, it was easy for me to do it because I attached myself to the heart of my goal. I just wanted to be a better man for everyone in my life. So it was easy. I would wake up, no matter how hungry I was or how starving I may have been, how broke I was, it was easy for me to kind of just get up and I wouldn't say push through, but just be able to rearrange myself to thrive in such a weird situation is because I focused on my goals. So psychologically, understand that's an inner thing. When you're injured, that's just a physical thing. You can always work around the physical. When it's inwardly, psychologically, you're feeling down because you're injured, always think back to why you are doing what you're doing. Once you connect back to that excitement, that joy, to that initial inspiration, motivation, it'll be easy for you to work around these things. You're not just going to be sitting around like watching TV, just feeding yourself to death. You know, that's the only way. I wouldn't say the only way, but that's, you know, when you layer these things back, it will always start to your initial goal and your intentions. Now, one secret I'd like to give you when it comes to physical pain, okay? Even when I got sick with COVID, I locked myself. I had to stay separated from my family. I was locked in the room. I still did like push-ups, shadow boxing. It was extremely hard, dude. I was dying. But I kind of picked this up when I was a kid, and you know, like just watching movies and just getting these downloads from the universe, whatever you want to call it. When it comes to physical injuries, physical pain, getting sick, what I like to do, okay, this is like my chess martial arts secret magic, is that especially when I get sick, I'll start to eat foods that I loved during my childhood. You know, when you're dealing with a lot of physical pain, your brain is like scrambling around just trying to numb itself out. And you know, I don't do drugs, I don't drink, so the next best thing I get to turn to is food. Let thy food be thy medicine. So when I'm sick or if I'm really injured, I'll still work around the injury, but when it comes to the food, I take myself back and I eat foods that genuinely bring me joy and satisfy me. So like when I'm sick, I'll eat like in Hawaii we call it Vienna sausage with rice and ketchup with a Sprite. I'll eat kimchi bowls, Simon. I'll eat a shit ton of ice cream, pizza. You know, when you're injured, like I said, the body's in pain. And now my cat. This is my cat, Valen. When your mouth experiences those taste buds, especially when you've been like on a clean diet, dude, it starts sparking things in your head and it starts to help heal your body. Okay? Like that scene in Ratatouille. You know, the guy was always just angry. The food critic, and then when he ate the guy's ratatouille, it brought him back to his childhood, and like automatically just poof, it just zipped. My son, when you have those moments of bliss, especially when you eat foods from your childhood, it just sends this boom, and it helps to circulate the body. You know, people will ask, oh, what about CBD? What about smoking weed? This and that. I mean, and painkillers, it's cool, but you got to understand that when you take a painkiller or when you smoke some weed, it helps the blood flow. But there's really no building blocks. Understand, especially with smoking weed. I used to smoke a shit ton of weed. When you smoke weed, what is the next thing that you do? You get extremely hungry and you start eating. Next thing you know, your body is just in this weird state of bliss. The weed, CBD, it helps to really regulate really good blood flow. What's flowing in your blood? The macro and micronutrients from the things you are eating. So it's best you just eat the food and eat foods that, you know, really remind you of your childhood, because once you get in that bing and you're in that just zone of, you know, your childhood or like your favorite snacks when you used to like to eat as a kid, you know, your blood, your mind, everything is easier to be at ease. You're at peace, you know, you're in the moment and everything can heal. A lot of reasons why you can't heal physically is because of just mental tension and, you know, all this darkness, and you don't want to take a day off. As an athlete, you got to be able to, I'm not trying to be a bodybuilder, so I can eat whatever I want. As long as the performance is there, that's what it is. So on top of connecting yourself back to your why, to your goals, to your original intentions, finding that excitement again, The second part, the secret to recovery will be the food. If you are really that down bad, eat some ice cream, eat some pizza again, eat your favorite snacks from your childhood. And once those taste buds really invigorate your mouth, it starts sending these signals throughout your body into your brain. And once you get into this bliss, this kind of like weird, like childhood bliss, your blood is able to flow. Your conscious mind is able to like let go of whatever negativity, and everything can heal much faster. This is like the spiritual, there's science to this, but I don't want to get into it. This is just, you can take my advice, you can trust me, just don't be afraid of it. Just try it out. And that is one thing that has really helped me. Just connecting myself back to my why. And, when I'm really injured, just indulge on some ice cream, pizza, spaghetti. I love spaghetti. Have dinner with your family, with your loved ones, and just let everything flow. And you're going to realize, wow, your body at those moments really have no pain because your mind is just in another place in bliss. And that's just what it is. That's my advice, my guidance to helping you over those injuries. If you have any more questions, I'm going to be doing more videos like this, just answering questions from your comments, because a lot of them are very repetitive. And I'm going to share more of my little wushu secrets with you while I sit next to my plant and just hang out and cruise on my stairs. My bedroom is here. My kid's bedroom is there. My son's bedroom. There's a bathroom in front of me. This is a crazy setup, and I really like it. And until next time, train hard, have fun, and be kind. Let's go.